I think that's one thing with Desire coming out is, yes, into this composition that Gen.G has a lot of shorter range options, but I feel like Ruler's in a position where it's like I have a pretty free lane right now. Like, yes, level 1 is a little rough, but after that, you know, Ezreal just kind of outranges. So I think he's pretty happy to take the Ezreal. I think the Rakan pickup was fine. I think the Desire maybe gave a little bit too much power over to this Ezreal pick specifically, but I think the rest of the comp has tools to deal with it. So I don't think either team's made major flubs in this draft, to be honest. It feels like both teams have kind of gone the direction they wanted. You know, I have my thoughts a little bit about the Xayah into the Ezreal specifically, but overall, I think this one gives both teams a pretty fair chance.
Yeah, I would agree. I do think that when you pick Xayah, there does need to be something on the team that can offer some sort of range.
Some attention from Lucid there to get the ball rolling.
Yeah, just have to see how it goes. Let's jump onto the Rift for D+ versus Gen.G.
Not as strong as it used to be, but that level 1's still threatening if you overstep. So I think Duro and Ruler,
yeah, I think if they
respecting it.
Yeah, if they play respectfully. I think last time we saw this, it was a different situation when it came to the players that are existing on the Rift.
It's a missed opportunity for Keen to bring that champion in the game until Showmaker, but actually that's a huge trade.
Yeah,
from Shiwu there.
Even taking a turret shot, but still not going to be too worried about it. Lucid in position to go for something, and Canyon's on the bottom side of the map. Good ward over the wall here from Keen. Will spot out the Scorpion making its way in, but is it actually going to help the situation? That's the question here. As Chovy, not going to be able to save him with a teleport or anything like that as Canyon. Oh, brilliant flash over from Lucid as Keen will be taken down and he tanks up just enough turret shots. And these dives are difficult at this stage of the game. That was played beautifully.
Yeah,
the first grub picked up by Gen.G. DK already picking up one of them. So third one going to be going over to Canyon there as well. So
it was very effective at setting up gangs. Unless you did a minion, then it wasn't very effective.
It was not very effective. No. Same thing could be said for pre-workouts, pre-rework Sion, where he used to be an AP champion that would build as many Doran's rings as possible.
These grubs, I think the correct play for D+ might be to play for time. Maybe give some time to Shiwu alone on the bot side, and Keen has a choice. He can either move up towards Grubs and be there to assist, or he can be down to catch the wave. It looks like the decision is he's moving up. Shiwu's getting ready to TP.
Yep, Showmaker looking for an angle here as Beryl goes in. Canyon is ulted, keeping himself safe here as the train is going to crash into the wall. Showmaker now pushed out of the fight though, as Lucid will get knocked up and he's the first target. Gen.G just eviscerate the Skarner. Still, Showmaker in position, doing a fair bit of damage. Chovy going exceptionally low, but I think he's going to be safe for now, aiming the next target here, as he will get knocked up. Beryl being an absolute hero, and Showmaker can now throw down the massive damage from this machine gun rise, and now is realm warping, looking to stop Keen, stop Duro from being able to do anything here, and D+, a gorgeous team fight to start off the game. So the boss is not here. Okay, Lucid looking for a bit of an angle, Room Prison down on a Chovy, but a little bit early to start off the CC chain. Still going to get the ult out.
Yeah.
He does move away. Showmaker just trying to get that fancy footwork out as in goes Canyon. Showmaker was playing hyper aggressive as Duro comes on over, and the Realm Warp is going to get him to the cow. He's going to try and deliver this kill back, because Lucid just a little bit late to this one. Duro just very happy to run around here, has the Unbreakable Will, and in the mid lane, that is where DK are trying to make that cross-map play. Ruler doing his best to clear out the minions. But I think that's just a Showmaker for nothing, and they'll pick up a dragon.
Yeah, beautiful from Gen.G, and I feel like D+ kind of missing the mark a little bit. Feels like that game plan. Oh, looking for TP now from Shiwu.
Yeah, and Duro, no ulti available and no health to speak of as well. True Shot Barrage coming on down, but that is Shiwu grabbing the kill immediately. Now everyone just finding the CC. Canyon impaled and taken down. Beautiful quickness there from Beryl to help out as Chovy is in trouble. There are 4 people, and Beryl, he knows exactly who he wants to take out. It really felt like Gen.G had made the map play, right? Like, it felt like there was going to be no contest, no answer, but the fact that the cooldown of the Unbreakable Will comes out meant that Duro was completely useless. Didn't have the health bar, wasn't able to go on a reset.
Obviously, it's hard to see this. Oh, Showmaker in trouble again.
Yeah, Wind becomes lightning as he's going to try and offer some damage back. Duro, not a lot of damage himself, nor does he have the ult, but in a second's time he will. Still, Showmaker trying his very best to at least make it difficult for them to take this one down, as finally they do. On the turret, and Shiwu might actually have some friends coming in to help out as well, as this Q just to try and clear out the wave, but there's the CC, the layering's good. And Beryl, happy to tank this turret up. Chovy towards the top side of the map, but it is going to be Lucid defending as Canyon takes that Rift Herald like you were talking about. So Gen.G able to pull this one back. Defense as Chovy on a flank angle alongside Canyon. As DK, they really want this dragon. You can see Lucid looking for Chovy, looking for a possibility as Keen's going to get knocked up. Duro not going in just yet.
But he's just so tanky, it took a lot of effort to get him that low, and even then he has an ending despair, so he would be able to heal up. But the damage on Ruler was what stuck, and she was doing a great job of landing that.
But it's not going down all that quickly. Duro on a flank angle, wanting to be able to get Shiu out of there as he's looking for a flank. In comes the Rift Herald as well, as now Keen just puts his body in front. But look, he's melting! Just cut down right in front of their eyes. He's going to have to just call a train for himself to get out. And DK are saying thanks for the leash. Their health bars look so much better. And without their frontline tank, they're not going to be able to do this. It's going to be a 50-50, but it's Lucid that takes it down. And Canyon with a defensive ultimate is going to try and get him out of there. But these flowers go to DK, and they
get the buff now, so it's going to amplify that dragon, any future ones they get. They are going to start feeling really bulky as a result as we get into this game. Now they are looking towards Canyon on the bot side.
Beryl just holding onto his Q, or his W, sorry, just to make sure that Canyon wasn't going to be able to immune it. And even though the Impale doesn't find a target, that's because the target was a corpse.
The value she was getting on this Jace has been massive. I feel like, you know, ever since we saw the tank Jace go away, we've seen a lot of these more damage-oriented Jace, sometimes a bit more bruiser. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon.
Yeah, perhaps 3 versus 2 right here as he does flash away. Shock Blast as well, doing a lot of damage as Lucid delivers Keen into the backline. I don't know about it, but he's still just getting destroyed. Artican or no Artican, I guess this guy's just made of paper as Chovy and Showmaker went for a scuffle. That is not the important part. The important part is DK taking control of the whole map.
Yeah, it feels like Keen's starting to get shredded. You know, you have the fact that aiming is 100 CS ahead of him in comparison. Already has that last whisper. I've seen a lot of these. Oh, Ruler, you're just dead.
I have a feeling he is not going to survive. There is a teleport coming over, so it may not just be him. He cleanses the wallbang, but that's not going to save him as Chovy's like, no, I'm getting out of here. And that's a really good idea. Yeah, he doesn't have an opportunity to get out anymore. That was a good flash. The charm had to be maneuvered as well, but look at this. Lucid's going to move up, and Keen has to invest the ulti, and Canyon is just dead. Not sure how that happened. He was probably rotating down to try and pay for the sins. Vision around the area, but I don't know whether any of it has actually seen DK, and this is going down so fast. My God! Lucid in a good position to go for this one as Canyon gets over. He can threaten the smite now as Showmaker moves out of the way of the charm. True Shot Barrage not doing anything as Beryl goes in, doesn't really find the angle that he wants. But the rise damage is still massive, and Gen.G, they lose out on the dragon, and Beryl just gets himself out of there. These shock blasts, my God, to the skies. Boot back by Keen, which is pretty good, but not good enough as Canyon comes on over. Down goes Keen. The front line melts in the blink of an eye, and the Realm Warp to follow up. Chovy, I don't think he's getting out of this one. The feathers get pulled back, and he is now in the grave. Ruler going to follow. The Impale doesn't hit him, but he doesn't have any dashes left, and there is the clean ace for DK, the secure.
He was making a statement with his game 1.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous play. So much of it from this star rookie on the top side of the map. Legendary.
뒤로 좀 빼자. 왼쪽에 짜오, 왼쪽에 짜오. 왼쪽에 짜오. 아리 여기 있다. 나 미터 깔아줄게. 아리 다리 뭐. 짜오. 아리 매우권 3주격. 나 아리 매우권 할게. 야, 다운 번영 빼. 알리부터 얘들아. 빨리 와. 야, 누가 들어가도 돼. 들어갈게. 누가 들어가 그냥. 알리부터 볼게. 그냥 일로 들어가도 돼, 일로. 가야지. 들어가줄게. 들어갈게. 나 쭉 갈게. 자. 사이언부터. 야, 짜오. 알리. 다운. 나 여기 봐줄 수 있냐? 가도 돼. 나 이거 피하러. 게임 끝날만 돼. 나 이제 돼. 가도 돼. 풀. 났어.
Yep, and I just love that DK, they know about this as well. Yeah, 34.3k, not too bad there from Shiu as these damage numbers on the Gen.G side looking pretty pitiful. Wow, remember, exceptional play.
First pick Jace, you know, complete confidence in him on this pick. And
DK at the same time as Gragas mid would be a choice of all time. Certainly something you could do. As the Cho'Gath, we haven't seen the hyper-speed Cho'Gath mid here in the LCK. We did see it picked by Beryl earlier on.
Yeah.
This time it's going to be Showmaker playing it, and every DK fan that watched that game is very happy that Beryl isn't playing it again.
Absolutely.
That center lane was awful.
I will say, into the Jhin, it doesn't really feel good about playing on Cho'Gath. That is, you know, peak Jhin is useless into you. I guess your W is impossible to miss. But I will say the Lilia Gwen being available for Gen G does help a good amount when you're playing into a Cho'Gath. The silence is pretty high value for them, but just the percentage shred.
If they can make this work, it is going to look good. Oh my goodness.
A peak.
Normally I'm like, it needs to be Gentleman, but this one might win me over. Let's go into the Rift.
Really well. The characters look super cool. But goofy skins are peak.
Oh yeah. And honestly, like, this April Fool's has been some of the best the skin team has ever done.
Yeah, Cho'Gath pass is very simple. When you kill something, you get health and mana.
All right. Beryl's just going in. Ruler lit on fire as Lucid making his way down. The flash not going to follow as they've just decided that Duro is going to be their target. 2 flashes in the bottom lane as the Rupture's going to connect. Showmaker closing the distance. So right click. That's the mechanic that you need to be aware of. All right, aiming is going to be able to slow down Ruler. Remember, this is from the work they did earlier, taking those 2 flashes, and they'll now take first blood. Canyon turns up, but he's a little bit late.
And he's already heading back over. Not quite level 6. He just hit level 6. Ideally, you want to get a gobble off a champion or off a grub to get that stack if you can here.
Well,
He's moving over.
Yeah, Duro, Hex flashing, looking for a bit of an angle as Showmaker really wants to be able to get in here. It's going to be Canyon taking away one of these grubs. As already, of course, Lucid did manage to secure one, used his smite on it, and so he's just going to vacate.
So it's just going to become a farm in mid.
Oh, Beryl, look for that angle, gets the wall bang here onto Keen. Not immune quite enough there as he flashes out of the way of the bullet time. This is looking dicey, though, for DK. Is Keen even in a 1v2? Looking deadly. Yeah. All right, Showmaker throwing down a weird Rupture, but Chovy going to pick up a Glacial Prison, and Lucid, he's at full health. That Rupture not going to land. The Feral Scream also going kind of wide. That was a weird type situation there, and Chovy will survive.
Maybe could have slept and forced the cleanse, but opting to hold it for the grub fight.
Oh dear, here's the public execution from Shiu. He's going to then immediately try to get out of here. Needlework going to be missing, and in fact, so was that Q, but not going to risk it. Flashes immediately, and Shiu not going to be dead just yet. As Lucid coming in, there is the ulti, and down goes Canyon. Showmaker actually just eats him, so that's going to be a stack there as well. Heroic Charge gets Duro into the wall, and the Rupture going to miss once again. So it's only Canyon that goes down, but that is going to even out the grubs to at least a little bit better than last game. 4-2 now.
About Keen flash queuing, but Keen didn't have flash. So I think he kind of pre-flashed, but just wasn't, you know, those moments you expect to play, and Beryl is...
Yeah, Beryl's Hex flashing in. Chovy gonna try and kill Showmaker before he goes down, but Beryl is so scary. That Rupture is going to land, and even Lucid was here to play.
He's just a flasher, regular flasher coming out there. I see the replay here, so it's a great honestly.
Oh my god.
That angle to connect onto the Nivea, there we see... Actually, I think the ult, I'm not sure if the stun in the wall did
Now Gen G find themselves in about a 1,000 gold deficit. Not end of the world or anything like that, especially with Keen still being such a problem. Canyon moving down as he tries to hold him in place. Bowling ball going wide here. Shiu gonna have to vacate. Teleport does come in from the Cho'Gath, and there's the Glacial Prison. Canyon now trying to get himself out. Beryl comes in and just gonna grab the drive-by kill onto the Lilia, and 1 versus 5 is not gonna work for Keen.
Epic monsters or champions.
Yeah, much harder to stack up that way as Duro is going to be discovered here by 2 burly gentlemen as he does try and taxi his way out, but unfortunately he's going to get eaten. And that is another stack coming through. And he grabs the cannon at the same time. And the best part about Showmaker getting stacks is that, so let's just not make that happen, as Beryl is very far up. He's not afraid of dying, even if he hasn't done it yet. And now, that's the caster curse. That's what we were talking about. First death, still going to be traded for Chovy, perhaps, as the bullet time, unfortunately, out of range. As in comes Shiu, and that is going to spell the end. And the public execution actually going to get the flash out from Ruler. Showmaker unable to close the gap, even though he does have all the movement speed in the world. And DK, I think it's a trade up, but it is the first death there for Beryl, and that is that's a shame for DK fans.
I don't know, I feel better about it now. You know, Beryl's died, they get a winning fight off the back of it. I feel like everything is, this is DK, this is DK, this is Beryl. Now we know for sure. Oh, fight coming out.
Yeah, teleport actually coming on in here from the Quinn as flash out from Showmaker. Still, Canyon comes on forward. The Herald is actually going to be secured by the MF. And it is the Quinn starting to pop off. Shiu looking to dash over Keen. Under 100 health, and Beryl's coming in. Beryl! And knocks him down. Ruler can't win this 1v1 either, and Aiming comes on over, flashes forward, says, Beryl, stop stealing my kills, and Shiu says that he's the second coming of Keen. There, and then it's a Jin. What are you supposed to do? Oh, how did he win this?
The Eclipse Shield.
Oh, just tabs.
Absolutely released it.
As Beryl is looking for Ruler once again, as the bowling ball goes wide, he invests about everything that he has with minimal follow-up available. Shiu not actually able to make this Cho'Gath even faster, which is very scary. It's going to be a Hextech Soul, and I can confirm that Orcs was actually paying attention, but maybe not. Sorry, Chemtech. I always get the different techs. I was
too locked in on Beryl.
Yeah, he's for DK.
They have a great route here, actually. Gen G, they could be caught out. They're going for the tower.
Yeah. Looking for it. They will be able to take that one down as they are spread. Beryl trying to find an angle, and immediately he sees Ruler, and he's going to look to kill him, but he now finds himself as the man caught out. Public execution gets Shiu into the backline as Beryl survives for so incredibly long, but is it actually going to work out? Because it's now 4 versus 5, and Shiu's going to make it 3. The sleep going to come on through there, and there is the one after the other. DK being cut down. And there we go. We thought for a second that DK were just going to play clean for the rest of the series.
For them to be in that position feels great for them. Chovy looking for Aiming.
Yeah, but Aiming has a bunch of friends. Maker Rain comes down. There's a good rupture, but no follow-up as the bowling ball going to connect. As Aiming, ticking down over and over.
Yeah, he does have... I mean, this is the thing with MF. You have Bloodthirster to sustain up, or you have Strut to get back to lane quickly, but still will force him away for now, and Showmaker's going to have to cover.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. Showmaker, you can see, checking just to make sure he's not going to get flanked. And yeah, this tower, not long for the world. That is going to mean Gen G with a good team.
Yeah, I mean...
Okay. Keen will find Lucid.
There's the flank.
Now, yeah, that's a big teleport flank angle. Beryl going to come on over and gets the heroic charge. Chovy is immediately recalled as there's a Sejuani that's a bit sleepy, or is it Bristle?
I did start to consider the fact that it was a Corki TPing into that flank position.
Control of the banana brush, but Lucid gonna have to put his body forward. Solar Flare gonna be avoided, but no. Actually, Beryl forced to McHale's himself, throws down the ulti though, and down goes Keen. He just oversteps in one moment. Phosphorus Bomb not going to land here as Lucid is still very low, and the Drake is still going to be picked up there by Canyon. 1 kill, observing, and he is a bowler. As now, Shiu actually looking for a little bit of an exchange onto Keen here, already winning it out beautifully, and Showmaker's on the way. Is this a stack? He flashes for it. Grabs it with some ball spikes as DK going to take down Keen for the 4th time. Banana Brush.
So big.
Yeah, Shirelia's popped. As look at this, they go so fast. He's so large. There's the Glacial Prison. In they go. That's going to be the steal. That's also the Nom coming through from Showmaker, who takes down the Leona. Keen going golden. Ruler feels like he's in a safe place, but look at these health bars. They're going so low. Still, the curtain call is enough to make it happen. Aiming going to get flashed on here as Ruler says, nope, you're going down. And Chovy is collecting.
Chovy got so much value there, but also the ult from Ruler found a position to disengage from the fight, get that ult off, and just started picking up targets left and right. The initial fight went in favor of D+.
Wait, is it game over?
I think it might be.
There's so much damage.
20 seconds. I think it's just done. They have 4 grubs as well.
Yeah, and so they just need to keep these minions alive. Inhibitor does go down as Gen G, they were thinking about it for a second there. They're like, wait a minute, we can just win. As Keen tanking up a bunch of turrets, but the turrets just don't exist.
Yeah, the next wave is there. It's only Beryl. He doesn't have ult.
Yeah, and Keen is going to be immune. There is no way Beryl's going to stop this one. As now Lucid, can you be the hero? The answer's no. 1 shot from Ruler. And Gen G bring it to 3 games here.
더블 나오면 봐도 된다 이쪽. 더블 하면 되고. 이거 용 치고 있을게. 우리 했어. 얘네 치고 나왔어. 토가스 노플이야. 토가스 킬 빠졌고. 뽀비 날라가는 거 날리는 거 생각.
먼저 나간가?
네, 뽀비 노플. 와, 내가 날라갔고. 빼면서 해야 돼.
일단 재워볼게.
나 아래로 뺄게.
한번 뺄게. 나이스 나이스. 야, 앞에서 잡았어. 이거 이겨. 이겼어. 야, 노플. 야, 끝내 나가자. 노플이야. 잡았어.
끝낼만
미드 자유충이야.
볼중이라 그냥
아니, 뭐야?
Really, he should have been able to. And it really did create a deficit on the map.
I think the thing is, you could definitely have seen a game where this comp from D+ is really hard to play into, but Genji early picked up the Gwen Lilia, and this is such a great Gwen Lilia game. It kind of felt like D+ drafted some of those bulky health champions into two of the best AP shredders in the game.
Yeah.
Canyon's
Yeah.
historical Lee Sin play.
They know him pretty well. And that's a Zed.
You can't really plan for that one.
Well, this is also what he played in, like, was it? I don't even remember whether it was this matchup, but it was when Zed jungle was just a thing for a little while. He played that Kayn game. This kind of feels like the same vibe here as it just gets locked away. And now we're wondering, because Zed could go to a bunch of different places as well. The more recently we've seen it in mid lane. Sylas could be played on the top side of the map as there is the Vex. As she was just having a giggle, is like, what the heck's going on? Just give me Cassante, man. I just want to play something real. And that is going to exist.
This is peak Fearless, honestly.
Oh my god.
In the Zed jungle, the Vex mid, which is great against dashing champions, you know? That's one of her strengths, although I think the champion is a little weak at the moment, which is why we don't typically see her. Cassante comes out Shiwu. I'm looking at a Gnar potentially for Keen into that, but tame in the top side to make up for the excitement everywhere else.
Oh my god. Think like that. That is not a 2v2 that I had on my radar. You know, the Sylas Zed combination, as Camille is another choice that you could make. This steers Genji away from team fighting a little bit and allows their 1-3-1 to be devastating.
But it's just so much dive potential in this top side. This feels like the sort of dive top side you see in solo queue.
Yeah.
Just go like 20-0. I do think, you know, ultimately the Cassante can do a pretty good job appealing, as can the Vex, but I would not want to be playing Varus in this game. Plus, in the early game, I would be scared trying to play Varus in the late game against all this dive, so they want to make things happen early.
Let's dive onto the Rift for game number 3. Yeah, obviously it's going to be right now it is a 5 versus 4, as the Piercing Arrow is going to get a bit of extra damage here from aiming.
Got to get that mana flow ban stack.
100%. That is a early advantage there.
Very well into melee champions, very good at disengaging them, very good at just harassing them with autos, but there's not really a situation where Nico lets you auto attack here.
Yeah, right now going pretty well. Having a look here at this matchup, of course, Vex just likes it if you're dashing around her. It can be a little dangerous, gets a ward off himself as Chovy actually positioning really, really nicely to try and capitalize, as Lucid going to land some daggers. And Canyon just utilizes the shadow, gets himself out of there, as the doggo is going to soak up some of this turret damage. That is
This is cheeky
devastating.
Canyon, so I think the thought process here was Canyon was like, Lucid's going to head topside and think I've protected the bot side scuttle, grab top scuttle, go to bot scuttle. So Canyon was like, okay, I'll sneak down, grab them and hit both. Which means in a situation like this where Ruler and Duro are really low, it's actually scary having the Neferi
really
nearby.
low, look at this. Kayn tanking this full wave.
This is just top laners limit testing.
Yeah,
you know?
Top laners that know they have biscuits, man.
And
biscuits
also
make them feel so immortal.
Know that the jungler's on here right now. I think that's a really important factor here. They're sticking around for those extra minions. But I think Shiwu understands that the last time they saw Canyon was a little bit ago. Actually,
of course, over at Harmer Life Esports, coaching right now, but he managed to win more than 10 years ago.
The lane instead.
I always thought that he started off as a mid laner, but I could be wrong, as Hextech Ultimatum comes down and Keen is going to flash away. Lucid going untargetable means that he's not going to be in too much trouble. Never mind, Keen moves back actually. I think he still had the bleed on him, and so was able to make sure that an extra few shots went over towards the doggo.
Okay, but I'm remembering that correctly. But yeah, and then he came back because they gave him some extra jungle monster killing capabilities. But didn't see play in the LCK, surprisingly enough.
All right, we're going all out onto Canyon, who does have a shadow over the wall. Duro very safe when they're playing for mid, things like this, as Pop Blossom. Duro just caught out of position. Fate's Call needing to be invested here.
Oh, very snowbally.
Oh, we're going all out. Let's see what Keen can do to this one as he just hook shots his way out. Of course he does. So
yeah, this is the second time that he's...
some more grubs to go over to Genji as well. As, all right, Beryl finding an angle here as Duro, remember, no Fate's Call to save him.
Objectives again. So I did Chemtech, now the Hextech.
And remember, this is not one of those times where you're like, oh, it doesn't matter if they get the grub. 6 grubs is bait, and blah, blah, blah. As Chovy has found a Pop Blossom, and he's also found a Showmaker. He does get the fear off, and he needs to be able to one rotation this Vex if he wants to kill him. Because now both of these teams just feel so incredibly happy to just scale until later in the game. I can imagine that Gen G, probably because they've got a Camille, who in a side lane, as we can see here, is just going to be a menace. First turret going over to Gen G there, and they hold the lead here for DK as that turret does fall.
Did you just see Ruler's Cleanse got burned? You saw in the picture-in-picture by aiming's ult, but aiming no longer having ult for this fight. They are looking for this dragon. It's getting low. Lucid's trying to find a look in.
Yeah, Lucid is in a bit of danger here, is what it kind of feels like to me. Of course, can go untargetable and keep himself safe as he doesn't get the smite. Shiyu now dives in on top of all of them as he tries to get out. There's the Pop Blossom onto 3 somehow from Beryl, but the first kill gonna go down already. Keen gonna get bailed out pretty quickly, and there it goes. Down goes the Vex, and aiming in a whole host of trouble. Chovy looking for his first one as Canyon getting on in there. Beryl going to be his target as Lucid jumping on top of Ruler, but Ruler gets over the wall with a gorgeous flash. The handshake says top of the morning to you, and down goes the hot dog. And it's just that bottom lane left alive, but are they going to be alive for much longer? As Chovy out of turret range, and that is going to keep him alive here as Gen G, they grab themselves the feats of warfare, even though they didn't need them in an instant.
Huge fight win for Gen G. They stop the dragon stacking and get kills exactly where they want them.
So this is certainly a dangerous option. Was put behind in lane. The problem is that now we're not in lane well on this champion. It's continuing to be the case. Chovy also with just all of the agency in the world as his doggo's needing to be pulled out as Chovy gets in there on top of Lucid. Aiming's going to be around, and Chovy takes that as just a reason to steal away his ultimate. Blue buff, I believe, was secured, and it was by DK. He's now Keen looking for an angle.
Aiming no flash.
Yeah, Hextech Ultimatum comes down. Pop Blossom in answer though, and it lands onto 3, but over the wall goes Chovy and helps pick up the bottom lane. The Vex now coming in and finding some value. They get 2, and Duro goes down as well. It's a 1-team fight already, but can DK get more? As we're getting the resets, and Showmaker gets on top of Ruler. No cleanse is going to cleanse him out of that one as the Nefiri Bleed takes down the Callista, and DK ain't done yet.
Huge overstep there from Gen G. Look at the dive aiming under the tower. And the thing is, against a Vex, the difference between getting that initial kill and not getting it in the previous fight, the momentum they found, and now they get a chance to throw down that Herald mid. Just when things looked like they were slipping away from D+.
Of that last skirmish, and has about a 700 gold lead, is now Chovy caught in a side lane as Lucid going untargetable. It is going to be a bit of value here, but unfortunately, that ultimate not going to do anything to save his life, and now the mid laner is dead for Gen G.
Don't do it, don't do it. It was a good pick.
Arakan is not the answer.
No,
oh, it's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. And he's looking for an angle, but he won't find one, so this dragon is going to be soul point for DK. There's still only 300 gold in the lead, and now Lucid just might be dead as he pops into the brush and like ships in the night. Oh God, Canyon actually more relevant for Draven as Canyon moving down towards his bottom side as Shiyu. There is a Hextech Ultimatum problem that he has. Deathmark going to come on through, and they will not put their backs against.
One thing to say though is we have Soul coming up in a minute 30. Baron and Arakan alive. That was a good play.
Chains of Corruption comes down. Where is the Callista? There she is.
Gets the Mikhails and the Chains of Corruption. That's big.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, obviously that pick was great from Canyon, but like, that's probably the last time you're going to get an opportunity to go bot lane and pick a target. It's still 12,000 HP.
Just get out of there, Shiyu, just standing in the front line, making sure that he can play gatekeeper to the rest of Gen G. They want to make sure that it does actually reset as Keen looking for that flank angle, looking for that opportunity. The rest of DK staying stalwart, seeing what they can do. As Gen G a little bit split is what it feels like, but if they time it correctly, it can be devastating here for DK. Duro still down very, very low, and there's no Fate's Call. Remember, Pop Blossom finds 3. The Arakan is taken by Gen G, though they have the extra life. As now Showmaker taking so much damage. Into the backline goes Keen. It's a DK disaster, and Gen G just roll over the top.
Decimation, it's so hard to contest the Arakan against the Callista, against the Zed, the execute value. It's secured by Gen G, but even if it wasn't, they just demolished them.
Immediately upgraded, and I don't know whether the DK Dragon Soul Dream is going to be alive for very much longer as they do take down the second Cloud Drake for Gen G. As Lucid just wanted to get something out of his own jungle. You not only have to kill him once, you have to kill him again. As Gen G splitting, they have got Canyon in the mid lane as Lucid looking for the angle there. Canyon might just be dead, and yeah, he's not going to be getting out of this one. So the recall or the withdraw going to be proc. The rest of Gen G now focusing on taking down this inhibitor turret on the bottom side as Keen looks to dive in. Pop Blossom used defensively here against Chovy as his Chains of Corruption are going to miss. And still the inhibitor goes down. Still Chovy is fighting. Still he realizes that he's just got a withdrawal. So he's going to be able to proc that as Shiu going down so incredibly low. And there is that true damage from Keen to execute the Cassante. Gen G, they take what they were looking for and they only have to send a few people home just for a little while.
Coach Kim will have some notes on that one.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. As now, DK wanting to get this defense working as Ruler's going to get Pop Blossomed. Ruler diving on top of him, or attempting to, as Chovy is the problem. He's got a Pop Blossom of his own, and they take down aiming. Canyon, absolutely absurd damage as well, and he just gets himself out. The death mark was just so good. And, wow, Cassante was there. Okay, she very, very far north in the LCK. And DK staying defeated against Gen G despite everything they were able to get done in this series. Showmaker goes down yet again. Canyon on about 0 health, but he doesn't really need too much. And Duro diving on into the fountain. The Nexus will fall. And the fate of DK is to continue to be just this close.
The same combo to aiming and he just dies.
Yep. Chovy does in fact die himself, but the game was well and truly over from that point onwards. Gen G really just cooked better, and this is what DK was so good at in the LCK Cup, and Gen G just found the answers.
Yeah, I will say at least for one thing, you know, Wolf was talking about not getting his hopes up. Anyone who didn't have long with them at the top, you know.
Yeah. It's true, and I don't know whether you're necessarily feeling the same kind of depression that we felt in the past, right? Where DK in a game 3 have just completely fallen apart. This was still a competitive game until Gen G got that snowball rolling, and with how these compositions are put together, it becomes extremely difficult to do anything about it.
Yep. And if there was any doubt before, there definitely isn't now. The Gen G are very much our strongest team right now. They're first in standings as a result of this, but also HLE beaten, T1 beaten. They also beat Nongshim, and they've now beaten D+, which are 4 of the other teams who are in the top 6 of them in the LCK Cup. And I would say...
Thank you very much, guys. This is Dear for the POM interview translation, joined by Kian on the side of Gen G, who just secured their 18th win in a row against D+ Kia. Let's hear from Kian. Congratulations! What a banger series, and Gen G comes out on top. You did so well today. How do you feel? First of all, I think we had a really rough time in Game 1, and after receiving and giving feedback, I think we were able to overcome and come back and win in the end. You know, even in team fighting and skirmishes and laning phase, you did so well. And Gen G has reached 18-match winning streak. So what are your thoughts on this?
18년승에 대해 어느 정도
You know, to be honest, regarding the 18-match winning streak, I feel like Chovy really set everything up for us to reach this record. So I think I'd like to give him a lot of credit for this. And D+ Kia came very prepared today in game-wise, and it looks like they focused on denying mid-champions and utilized a variety of new picks. So how did you think of all the pocket picks? I feel like the picks that we saw earlier on were somewhat predictable, but Vex was definitely not on that list. But in the end, I think playing it out, it didn't really give us much trouble in the end. And in Game 3, we saw you debating between Gnar and Camille. And why did you end up going with Camille in the end? I feel like I could have played either one. But just considering the enemy draft, I felt like Instead of playing Gnar, Camille had a lot more to do and I would have more action and more influence on the map with her. And with how strong top side of the map is, how would you rank each lane from highest to lowest impact?
뭐 사실 탑은 상체 중에서 영향력이 그나마 가장 낮은 것 같고.
To be honest,
그나마
yeah,
높은 거는 그래도 미드 정글
top,
쪽
I would
아닐까요?
say that it doesn't have a lot of impact in top side. So I would say mid lane has the most impact right now.
71일차 기원하셨다고 하는데 오늘도 POM까지 받아내셨습니다. 이 기세를 계속
You're able to get your POM after 71 days.
이겨야겠죠.
And just to keep this momentum going, what is your resolution? We're on a 4 winning streak currently. We will make sure that we are prepared for the next match to keep the winning streak going.
많은 팬분들의 응원이 더해지고 있을 텐데요. 팬분들께도 마지막으로 한 말씀 부탁드립니다.
And would you like to say anything to your fans?
방금 말했듯이 계속 열심히 준비 잘해서 연승.
As I've already said, we'll keep preparing and work hard to keep our winning streak and momentum going.
네, 고맙습니다.
And we'll make sure to win the
네,
next
기인
match as
선수의
well.
POM
And that's the
그리고
end of the
젠지의
interview
승리
with
축하드립니다.
Kiin.
인터뷰 고맙습니다.
감사합니다.
Congratulations on your win again, and back to the space. Thank you.